We'll go ahead and get this started.
So I actually really do like feet.
yeah. Anyway, hey, we're here this evening. It is November 7th, 2024. We're at the Natsulis Art Gallery with Anthony Robles.
Yo, and Kay Miller.
Interviewing Joe Bacchus, a Davis poet. And we just have a few questions this evening. What brought you out tonight?
I come to the Davis Poetry Nights as often as possible, so it was just force of habit.
Yeah, we see you out here all the time.
Yeah.
How'd you even find out about this open mic?
I feel like it was probably like 7 years ago, and I moved up to Northern California, and I was just looking for any kind of open mics, poetry readings.
So this the one that was closest to you geographically?
I live in Vacaville area, so there were a bunch at that time, like 7 years ago. There was like one up in Winters, there was one in Benicia.
Pre-pandemic, right?
Pre-pandemic, yeah. But this was the one that had like probably like the biggest turnouts, the most diversity.
Yeah, Dr. Andy's been putting on an incredible open mic for the past, 15 years?
It's longer than that. I think
it's an amazing open mic, yeah.
I never made it out to Sacramento much though, just because of the distance. So.
Yeah, they're starting to come back too with the open mic scenes.
Yeah. It's definitely we're on the up right now. So
yeah.
What do you think about the poetry? Well, now that we're kind of on that topic, what do you think about the poetry scene in kind of the Davis area? I know you say you don't get out to Sac much, but what about here in Davis? Like, is there a kind of do you find an expanded scene outside of this, or is it kind of insular?
For me, my experience of the poetry community is that there's a lot of like older poets who have been doing it for a while, are more established, more maybe tapping into deeper things that they've been dealing with for long years, and then you have a lot of younger poets who are just kind of like experimenting and trying to find what resonates for them.
That is probably one of the I'd see that mix at the
especially at I think the Davis open mic. You get kind of a nice mix that maybe you don't get at other kind of more like hip or indie sorts of places. I think the sort of academic setting gives it that mixing.
Academic in I guess probably a different way than I'm used to, but it is very. I find it a very inclusive open mic.
Yeah.
That being said, can you tell us a little bit about the piece you shared this evening?
Yeah, sure.
It was short enough you could probably perform it.
Yeah, if you want to recite it.
Yeah, sure. It's an old haiku. I don't remember how old, but I think I wrote it before I moved to Northern California. I was just writing stuff. It's Mastodon Marcher, Monotonous Mechanic, Mercury Madness.
Yo, Joe Bacchus. Let's go.
You write haiku, and so you know, like when you write short stuff, you're leaving it wide open, right? Because there's less it's less pinned down, and so there's a lot more room for projection when you have less of a stimulus, right? So
I definitely would say that. And
but I can tell you what I think when I think of it. It has to do with an image of an elephant, right? Because a mastodon is an ancient elephant. And it has to do with that idea of just big forces that just plod along monotonously, mechanically, and they just keep going and going and going and going. And that seems to be the drudgery that we often find in our world. And then the last line is the antithesis of that, to the sort of like other end of the spectrum that forms the tension. So Mercury Madness. Mercury is the Roman god, a trickster, or Hermes is the Greek, and it's that sort of energy that can unsettle and oppose the drudgery.
Man, all in what, 3 lines?
Yeah.
I think that's the master of the short form, Joe Bacchus.
I think there's just a unique skill, and it's wondrous to see just that distillation of
I've
meaning.
really appreciated your poetry the last couple
Thank
years.
you guys, I appreciate that.
It's incredible stuff.
Yeah, and we just have one more thing, really. And it's actually if you wanted to share anything.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to share, talk about, plug?
You know, I don't have anything to plug. I think all of these poetry communities that are existing around here are super valuable, and I would just echo what Michael Gallaglass said earlier. For everybody, when we find ourselves in dark times, who's creative, who's writing, who's doing art, you got to keep going, because we need that. We need that kind of illumination. So
Yeah, this
yeah.
is definitely not
Yeah.
the time to pack it in. This
Yeah.
is
No.
the time where you do get that art that is evolutionary or
Yeah.
revolutionary.
Yeah, both. I mean, I think he's right. We got work to do, you know. And I think Joe Bacchus is out here doing the work.
trying.
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah. The breakdown of your poem was awesome. Yeah, I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And thank you for your time, Joe.
Yeah, man.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And for GT Force, signing out.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Cool.
See you
Thanks,
next
guys.
time.
All right. You guys going out there?
Yeah, I think we got to get back to Sac. It's kind of a drive, but yeah.